Before I leave Danes Dyke today, I think I'd just like to share one more little account. It's more of a ghost story than UFO related, but I find it interesting. I was told this by a Flamborough man who I speak to quite often, and it's just an experience that he had whilst a young teenager in Danes Dyke. And make of it what you will. A strange one, and we're going to get to it in a moment, and we'll pick this up. We're just heading in the direction of where I want to retell the story. So I'll just leave it at that for now. So back in the 1990s, the early 90s, there were a farmhouse in Danes Dyke, and it were pretty much intact, absolutely dilapidated and falling down, crumbling, but it had the windows in it, the doors on. And I remember taking our girls and going for a walk and seeing this farmhouse and thinking what a shame that it's just falling into the ground. But I'll pick this up in a moment. So you'd have walked up this track to the farmhouse. I mean, I don't know what it dated back to, but I would have thought at least the 1800s. Looking at the bricks, there's still evidence of some of the bricks that look like they're handmade bricks. So obviously someone forged a living here back then, and the farmhouse would have been there where all this bramble and rough foliage is now. And this guy from Flamborough came with his friends back when he was a teenager, so I would think we're going back to the 1970s, and they climbed in the farmhouse. It were derelict even back then, and he said inside the farmhouse there was a loom, and upstairs in this farmhouse, so I'm told, this loom and the pedals on the floor were all moving, and it were working by itself. It's a story that stayed with this man many years. He's in his 60s now, but he said, yeah, he remembers seeing the loom upstairs in the farmhouse and the pedals all working by themselves. And how could that be? Strange story. Doesn't quite connect with the White Lady of Danes Dyke or the black cat sightings or other strange anomalies that are seen around here, but nevertheless ghostly. And what a shame. I think about this farmhouse and these properties of this nature that are owned by big organisations, we'll not say who, and they'd sooner let them fall into the ground before let somebody make a home. You know, there's so many constraints, so many restrictions. That have been preservation orders on it. You'd have had to put certain windows in of a certain style because it has to conform with what they're wanting. Yet at the same time, they'll just let it fall into the ground till there's nothing left. Which is best alternative? You see it all over. And I don't quite get it really, when you've got people who are willing to invest time and money in these properties. They'll even spend money boarding places up and obviously keeping people out. Then there's reasons as well, it's safety reasons I would imagine. But at the same time, it's totally useless and a totally pointless exercise if all they're wanting to do is watch these properties just fall into disrepair. So we've got the ghostly loom in the farmhouse at Danes Dyke, and the farmhouse would have stood here. And I can remember coming with our girls when they were young and taking them round Danes Dyke and seeing the farmhouse and thinking what a shame. How could that be allowed to happen? And think all that's left now is this brick wall. And even that'll fall into the annals of time shortly. It's the only thing that's left, and these old bricks. And I suppose we'll make our way back shortly, me and the Bobster. He's a bit calmer today. He's met a few dogs. He met his match with a Labrador that snapped at him because he thought he could just jump all over it, which was no bad thing. It didn't hurt him. And come on, Bob, this way. I'm kind of conscious because there's ticks all over the place, and his fur's that thick. I don't want him to get one attached to him, but I think it's inevitable. I just want to come to that wall and just show you what we've got left. And there you go, the last remnants of the farmhouse at Danes Dyke, and the story of the ghost loom that I was told about by a Flamborough man. And if he watches this, I'm sure he'll smile because he'll remember telling me. And I appreciate people sharing these things. It doesn't have to be UFO related, it doesn't have to be big cat related or cryptid. That's just as interesting. Okay, we'll end it there. Thank you.